Hi, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching, doing the trade review for Friday, the 12th of September. I hope everyone had a day. So to review a couple of the objectives that we had starting the day and jumping right into it, in the live market preview that was open to the really for all comers, the objective was to locate these high odds trade locations and push trades up out of here and higher. That was the primary strategy, right? The idea is, since we've been in this muddled trading range, and I'll show you what I mean by that. If we look on the volume profile, we've been stuck since really mid to late August in this very tight trading range. And I will highlight it for you here. Really from here, the primary range has been from here down to here with quick excursions out of that zone. So that essentially means we've been stuck for about 20 trading days now in a 15-point range. So while 15 points sounds plenty, between the gap ups and the gap downs and overnight moves that have taken away a portion of our day session, right? 15 points isn't a whole lot, and there's only been a couple of occasions out of those 15 days where we've exceeded this, really this 1980 to 1995 area. That makes for very tough, slow, grindy conditions, and that causes traders to see things that actually don't exist. And it's exactly why guys like Dr. Steenbarger put out articles about in slow, grindy markets, the biggest challenge is actually doing nothing or waiting till you see your trade setup. Right now, for me, my trade setup comes in faster markets than it does in slower markets, and I actually struggle with slower markets. And what I try to do there is, if I'm having a difficult day, I wait until we get to the edges. So I want to show. Unfortunately, I was not able to get on the air and really type in tweet out in real time, but in my own trading in the morning, I actually did struggle a little bit. So the basic concept here on the zones is that we take the first move into the zone, rotates back up, and then out of the zone, and the objective is to attain 2 points. All you need is 1 or 2 trades a day to get 2 points apiece in order to make your profit. The objective is when we're in tight, meaning relatively close to the open, if it takes more than 20 or 25 minutes to make that happen, then we simply exit the trade for either a small loss, right, or a break-even trade. So in this particular case, you'll see we came down. I took the long at 1982 3/4, and it took 5, 10, 15, and at the end of 15 minutes, I was warning. I was on in real time, and I was saying we were simply not being able to. I was not able to get the 2-point rotation in that time period, and I closed this trade flat. I did this in real time. I was then shifting my focus, right? For me, when I can't get a snap out of this white zone, usually this is a very high odds trade for me. I usually pull back and where do I look to take my trade next? And I said I would take my trade first time we move into this zone and first time we move into this zone. So I did not get this long, although the zone worked perfectly fine, right? And you can see you got 2 points. If you had trailers, meaning you traded more than one contract, you were able to get your 2 points, and eventually you had all the way up until 1984. Okay. If you look later in the day, that being said, this was very muddled, and in particular, these starting 2 candles here are the hallmark of an open drive lower. We had a gap down, we had the inability to fill the gap, right, and we had a lack of, really even half gap. It really just kind of, we opened and drove lower right out of the gate. For me, this is a very ominous trade setup, and it generally means we will push to the lower end. That being said, I attempted, again, an attempt is the correct word, when we came back up to the backside of this zone and came back in, I attempted to take a short. I used a 3-point stop. I got tagged out exactly right at the back here and was stopped out. And at that point, I now have one break-even trade. I have one trade where I'm down 3 points. I stopped digging a hole, and I'm simply going to wait until I get to my high odds trade locations to take any additional trades. Okay, that's not. I did take a trade in NQ midday. However, I did not call it out. So, following my trade plan, right, and focusing on the high odds locations, if you look at that, and not getting caught up in what is essentially a mess right in the middle of the day, right? We kind of just came in here and chopped around right in the middle. But if you moved your focus as a trader to the outside or the stretch on the day, first time into the zone. The other important thing to know about these zones is I suspend my 25-minute rule in these areas so that I have time for it to come out and give me a proper rotation back up. So if you look, first time into the zone, rotates up, easily gives me my 2 points, all done. Second time into the zone, touches right at the top of the zone, 1971 1/4, and this time it actually rotates all the way up to almost, we just fell shy of 1978, and that's just under a 7.5 point rotation. So my point behind all this is, number one, the trade locations all, if you look as far as the zones were concerned, all provided great trade location. First time into the zone here, you actually got a rotation up, although it was not 2 points. First time into this zone, rotation up, and gave you well more than 2 points, obviously, right? Even second time into this zone, my focus is on the first time and not the second time, but even on the second time, you were able to achieve a 2-point rotation up. First time into this zone, it traveled all the way back. Remember, my stop is 2 points behind each of these zones. That's where the stop is sitting, right? Traveled all the way to the back of the zone, broke it slightly, then came all the way back up, paid you your 2 points, and then came right to the tick, 1971 1/4, and rotated all the way up to 1977 1/4. And again, I want to reemphasize, the priority in the plan was to focus on these areas, okay, for rotations back up into the zone. And that was a highly profitable strategy, and exactly what I mean by having both trade location and a trade plan and being able to have the discipline to execute it. So there was not a lot to say. The only interesting thing about this is that if we look on the volume profile where we closed at 1976.50, if we look on the volume profile, we've now closed below, essentially this is the first time we've actually closed below the range. If you look at all these other occasions, okay, we've closed within this range from 1980 up to 1995, almost with one exception did we close above it, okay? So a couple of things come to mind for Monday. If it's essential that we either gap back up into 1980 to push to the other end of the range. If we gap down, right, I'm going to be highly aware of an open drive lower because we really don't have any support where I'm looking for my first level support or significant buy response, I guess I should say. We'll be right here at essentially 1960, and that's my bogey. From 1960, I do expect a significant buy response for 10 to 20 points back to the upside from there. Will the market do that or not? I'm not sure. It's key. I'm not trying to predict what the market will do. What I'm doing with my trade location is I am finding a place where I have very high odds of getting a quick rotation and getting my scale off, reducing my risk, and giving me a very good chance of booking my profits, okay? The other thing that you'll notice about the trade plans from day to day is the consistency in trade location and in how I handle those trades. So Dr. Steenbarger and Dr. Menaker all promote and encourage, and I do as a trading coach as well, these three fundamentals. First of all, make sure that you actually have a real edge, right? If you have an edge, have a set of rules that are designed around that edge to extract money out of it. In this particular case, my rules say, first time into the zone, let's erase all this beautiful drawing that I've done here. First time into the zone, you take the trade, you put a stop 2 points behind, and you allow the rotation up for 2 points, and you take your profit. If we're not in a high odds zone, you limit your time in that location to somewhere between 15 and 25 minutes max, okay? And if you're unable to achieve your 2-point target, go ahead and cut that trade loose at break even, and then either focus on the next zone below or simply keep all your focus on the highest odds trade locations, okay? And then the last piece of that is control your losses. If I take what saves me from drilling deep into a hole day by day and not over trading my account, if I take 2 stops back to back, I stop trading for the day and I come back the next day. Why am I able to do that? Because I know day by day my zones provide me with a high odds trade location and that they give me high probability that within a day or two I'll be back to, I'll be able to both recoup my losses on my trade and get to a new high, okay? If I keep drilling and I have a day where the market goes directional or even the scary word, crashes, right? Which almost never happens, but people love to banter that about, right? I know that I'm going to get 2 stops, and I'm going to be done for the day, and there's going to be a minimal amount of damage to my trading account. The key behind this is so that as I move along and I keep hitting my high odds trades in succession, that I'll be able to increase my trade size as I move along. When I get to periods where it's slower, right, I do less because fewer zones are hit, and therefore I have, if they fail, I have fewer losses. And the wins that I do have, because it's in a high odds trade location, I tend to still stack up wins, right? And I keep still moving along the trajectory of both increasing my trade size as my P&L increases along the road. So I've met all 3 criteria that those gentlemen encourage their coaching clients to follow, which is I have a trade plan that I can spell out in clear terms. And it has a defined edge. I have rules designed around that edge to both extract money and protect me on those occasions, because this is an odds deal. It's not a sure thing deal. It's an odds deal. On the occasion, I know that I have a 70 to 80% odds of gaining 2 points. So I have protection built around that if I get 2 stops in a row, I've stopped trading for the day, right? And then the last piece is my stop protects my equity in a larger picture so that I don't have any large drawdowns that become uncontrollable. And then the last piece is, because I have all my entry, my exit, and my stop pre-planned, I reduce my anxiety and my fear associated with trading, and I'm able to focus instead on what the meta communication is from the market and learn more about what the market's trying to tell me, so I can adapt my trade plan as I move along, but still build that around what is a defined edge. Anyways, my name is Simon. I'm with Trade and Perform Coaching. I hope everyone had a wonderful day. Once again, I want to highlight, first time into the zone, I was able to get out of this trade break even, no damage. First time into the zone here, rotation for 2 points. Multiple people in the trade room were able to take advantage of it. First time into the zone here, right? Again, high odds location. I suspend the 25-minute rule. Rotation up into the zone above, and then again, first time into the zone right here, rotation up, actually for almost 8 points to the upside. That's huge, guys. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 specific locations where you're able to enter, exit, and control your trade and control your P&L. It moves the uncertainty to a higher degree of certainty using the edge that I've established for my trading. And I'm trying to pass that on to others and help them learn to trade with an edge. Anyways, my name is Simon. I'm a Trade and Perform Coaching. I do the live market preview every morning. If anyone would like to come in and see what that's like, simply send me an email to tradeandperform@gmail.com, and I'm happy to extend you a 7-day trial into the room. Anyways, have a wonderful, wonderful day, guys. I hope everyone has a great weekend. I'm looking forward to Monday. The range is expanding slowly but surely, okay? And that's going to keep providing more and more trading opportunities, and that is great news for everyone involved, because these tight ranges have been really difficult to yank money out of because of their choppy nature. So looking forward to making money the last half of the year. I hope everyone has a great day, and we will talk to you on Monday evening. Have a good day.